Joining us this morning, a key player in the move to find some kind of bipartisan consensus after the State of the Union last night, and that is Congressman Spencer Bachus. He is the new chairman of the House Financial Services Committee. He joins us here on set along with Becky and Joe. Congressman, Mr. Chairman, always fun to say Mr. Chairman to an incoming chairman. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
One thing that struck me last night was, even though he did touch on Dodd-Frank, a lack of mention of things like housing or bank capital or too big to fail. Did you see that as a glaring omission?
I did. In fact, he didn't mention Fannie or Freddie. And that's a $6 trillion potential obligation of the taxpayers. And they were supposed to announce a plan January 31st, which has been delayed for 2 years. They still don't have a plan. And I think that's what came across last night. They don't really have a plan. He changed the words. Instead of spending, it's investment. But there was really no plan to cut spending, even though, as Paul Ryan said, we're there. We're not talking about a problem that's going to be here in 3 years or 5 years. We're talking about our inability to pay our bills today.
I mean, it is staggering with Fannie and Freddie. People are mad about TARP. We're going to lose. How much are we going to end up losing?
25 to 50
billion.
billion.
They're really mad about 25 billion. What are we going to end up losing on AIG? It's unclear now. We may get most of that back. We already know, Fannie and Freddie, it's hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars.
Oh, absolutely. There's no.
And it's like, where is it? That's the elephant in the room. How can you not? It's incredible.
They don't know what to do. They want to keep that as a public policy spending program by the government. They want to continue to make policy loans. I heard y'all talking about China. China is making policy loans. They went towards capitalism, and they've had a tremendous boom. But they're still a command and control economy.
Careful. Careful, you're painting. I was doing no painting. That was a self-portrait. I sat.
You told Alice Rivlin.
No, that was a joke. That was a joke. That was a joke. But listening to Andy Stern, I didn't put any words in his mouth. All I did was just sit back and listen. And people may disagree with that viewpoint. I mean, did you hear it? Does that sound like American exceptionalism to you?
Let's go towards what Europe does. Let's go towards what China does.
Let's go all the way to Cuba and Venezuela. I mean, let's just go.
The only reason that China has done well, and India has sort of taken off that Gandhi ensured so many freedoms that it really hamstrung them from building a road. But they've moved away to private enterprise. And the Chinese people and the Indian people, they're great at free enterprise.
Right.
You know, little shops and stores. But listen, China is 6 months or a year from now. I don't think you'll hear that China was the model.
What's going to happen in 6 months or a year?
Well, their inflation is out of control. Their policy loans. They continue to loan money to create jobs that produce goods that people are not buying. China has got demographic problems from their one child.
Right.
They've got tremendous
Their
problems.
entitlements are going to be.
You know,
now they have, you know, capitalism, free enterprise has worked over. They come from a command and control Russian-style economy, and so is Russia, and they've had growth. But you know, it's as if we're not listening, that we forgot what happened to Russia when we competed with Russia. And we didn't beat them militarily, we beat them economically. And American exceptionalism is not a new term. I was on a panel with Ben Bernanke.
New to some people. It's new to some people.
It's new to some people, yeah. I was on a panel with Ben Bernanke and Sheila Bair over at the Federal Reserve 2 weeks ago. I talked about, look, we're different. We're exceptional. We're unique. And 2 years ago, President Obama was in Europe, and he sort of took a shot at us saying that, and he said, yes, we're exceptional, but so is Sweden, so is Greece.
Belgium.
Two countries he used as an example. Yeah, well, you know, we are unique because we say the government's not the solution. The government's throwing money at things is not getting it done. Now, the American people in November, they got that message. They don't want the government spending more money. It's a spending problem. It's not a taxing problem, although we do need tax reform. We do need, our education system isn't working. But look, he said we need more investments in education. Look at some of these big city school systems where the dropout rate is 40% and the teacher pay and the really support personnel even more. The high salaries, it's not a question of money there.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Mr. Chairman, there's a lot of questions about regulation. The president has said that he is looking to streamline and get rid of stupid regulations. We've heard that from both sides of the aisle this morning. You're in a position where you're going to be responsible for potentially implementing some of these regulations or not. How are you looking at this, and what do you think we're going to see a year from now with a lot of the big financial services regulation?
I don't think he knows what's going on around him. Dodd-Frank has 300 new rules. It's 2,400 pages of regulation. We're just adding regulation. We're creating too big to fail. I mean, we are creating a protective ring around the largest financial companies. Dodd-Frank will make the biggest bigger. It is going to wipe out our small banks and our regional banks. The concentration of financial service assets in this country has gone from about the 10 largest financial companies controlling about 12% of the financial assets 20 years ago to 70%.
Yeah, it's an incredible number.
Yeah, they can survive on government regulation. It's your small business. And small business, they're the generators of jobs. Ask them what their main problem is. They'll tell you it's the government. It's regulation.
We're looking forward to the next few months to see what happens. Congressman, thanks for coming in.